that the old Wilds would have made.
Let's hear it.
Washington beats Philadelphia. I know you're mocking me. I got proof. I got proof. First of all, Washington is frisky. Philadelphia, did they look great against the Texans last week? No. I got history on my side.
It's a special edition of Upset Alert. I'm also picking that.
What?
Yes. I picked 2 upsets. Yes, I've got 2 upset alerts. I am picking Washington as well. All live from New York. Welcome. It's the show that can pick not just 1 upset, but 2 upset alerts, outright wins. Not just covering the spread. You're welcome, America. I hope you made a lot of money on that on today's show. Rough night for Eagles fans, as I predicted. Did this roughing the passer penalty cost the Birds a perfect season? Meanwhile, Dallas dissecting their loss in Lambeau, which I also predicted. Have the Cowboys been worse off with Dak? And finally, why Brady says he was embarrassed by this play, which I told my friends they should run. I'm like, you know what? Brady hasn't caught a pass since 2018. They should run it, so it's actually 3 for 3. Oh, man, I am feeling hot. Woo! Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wilds, the Bucks and Tiny Field Football. I'm back in a big way. Oh, Nick, how do you feel about sitting next to a genius?
I gotta give you credit, man. I mean, you are on fire.
You too, buddy. And Nick, we're on. Let's go. Starting the show. The Eagles lost.
We're just gonna go straight to the. What?
I gotta talk about this game, bro. I was locked into this one.
This is unbelievable.
Dusty's dreams are destroyed because he likes the Eagles. A.J. Brown not mad at it though. Take a listen.
It's just all about how you respond. I know guys got long faces, but me personally, of course I want to win, but now all this 17-0 over with. Like, you know, now we're gonna wake up and how you gonna respond, you know? Man, it's all good, man. And you know what I'm saying? This is a game that we love to play, and sometimes you can hit them out.
Well, I had a perfect football week. A.J. Brown didn't, but he's not too upset. Brew, is the Eagles' loss actually a good thing?
How dare you, Wild? How do you come out here and change? You stole my upset alert pick.
What do you mean stole?
I picked the Commanders to beat the Eagles, not you.
I said too. I agreed.
You weren't even thinking about that until I said it.
But I agreed with you, and we both got it right.
Didn't agree.
I got it right, and you got it right.
Agreeing comes on with glasses?
I got it. Did I not get it right?
Listen,
was there not a video that I got it right?
You settled this.
Bro, I reviewed the tape, and you were first in.
Yeah.
But then Wilds did join you alongside.
Yeah, I
just don't see how, we said that if you got it right, you were going to join Wilds or replace him on the upset alert graphic. But now that he also, I mean, he went 2 for 2. And you went 1 for 1.
2 for 2?
Yeah, he got the Packers. It's just how I reviewed the tape. I'm not certain.
It's weird.
But good job by both of you. Good job by both of you.
I'm doing this segment, like many, it seems like lately, under protest. All right? So
What's the question? Is the loss a good thing?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let me say this. I do not like what A.J. Brown said.
Oh, really?
It's all right for me to say it, us to say it. We're outsiders, right? I thought, I've said a loss would be good, right? Because I thought the pressure of 17-0, what would it be, 19, 20-0, whatever you got to go to win the Super Bowl, would be way too much. But I don't want to hear him say it at 8-0. At 8-0, like you're not 12-0, you're not 14-0 where it's really starting to be tough.
That's a good point.
You're 8-0 so it already was getting to them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's number one. And that shows that had they gone undefeated, the pressure of entering the playoffs undefeated would have crushed them. Because then it's almost like it's not just about winning the Super Bowl. It's about winning the Super Bowl and being undefeated.
Right, being the greatest team ever.
Absolutely. So number one, I don't like hearing that from him, but this was good for them. Because as I said, the pressure would have gotten to him. It's one thing when you're an elite, you're like that much better than everybody. Even 2007, sorry to bring it up, the Patriots. I don't think it got to them, but the bottom line is they lost. When you're undefeated, you can get you're human. So you get overly confident. Of course, we all remember Tom Brady. Oh, we're only going to score 14 points.
Yeah.
They had averaged 37 that year, right? And it got to them. So, look, Philadelphia is not head and shoulders above everybody else.
That's
so this is good for them.
I don't think the loss is good for them. I don't think it's crushing.
You don't think it's good for them?
No, because I think they need to bank wins because I don't think they are a great team. I think they had a great record. And I think that they were playing with turnover luck fire.
Fact.
And winning the turnover battle in 8 straight games to start the season, there's a reason it was historically unprecedented. Because even if you're great at protecting the football and you're great at dislodging the football and you have ball hawking players in the secondary, the ball is going to bounce wrong a few times. The refs are going to miss a call. And the fact that the Eagles went this long in the season without having a game like that is, to me, I don't want to say concerning because they were undefeated, but it is an indicator that they are not as good as the record suggests. And so here are the 5 teams in football that have forced the most turnovers this year. And I think all 5 of them, their record is better than they actually are.
Okay.
No, hold on.
The Bills.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the other 4.
I do. The Eagles they are a very good team. They're not 8-1 good. The Vikings are not 8-1 good. Seattle has overachieved. The Patriots obviously have overachieved.
Well, just for the record, the fact that like our turnover differential is actually at 0 because we give the ball.
You give the ball away a lot, which, by the way, with the Bills and the Patriots, it's similar in that regard.
Okay, so we're good.
Let me give you. So the flip side to that coin is there are 3 teams in the league that have a winning record that their turnover differential this year is -2 or worse. And I would argue you could say they are the 3 best teams in football. They are winning despite the turnover luck going against them. Kansas City, San Francisco, and Miami. Those 3 teams have had reverse turnover luck, and they are winning despite it. So when we are projecting forward for the season, for the postseason, and saying what is sustainable, what is not sustainable for teams, I am hesitant. Those 2 teams at the top in particular, those 3 teams at the top, Philly, Minnesota, and Seattle, which, by the way, right now would be the 1, 2, 3 seeds in the NFC, are they actually better at all than San Francisco, than some of the other teams? Or have they just been great at forcing turnovers, in Minnesota and Philly's case, great at protecting the ball, but that is going to regress to the mean at some point?
And a little lucky.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to take a quick trip down memory lane because we always have these battles. So I'll let you in behind the curtain, as Jalen Rose says. On like, hey, we need to talk about this team. We need to talk about that team.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the Utah Jazz.
Proven correct.
And you're always pushing back.
Yeah.
So the last few teams that were undefeated, we had all these fights. One of them, obviously, the Eagles. Cardinals. Now, granted, Kyler got hurt here, but ended up 11-6, and then next thing you know, Kyler was throwing the ball upside down against the Rams. And Big Ben, when all they did was throw the ball and didn't run it, but he was 11-0. I was like, Nick, we got to talk about the Steelers. He's like, no, we don't. Right. Nick, do you think the Eagles are going to suffer this same kind of mediocre
Well, those
fate?
teams lost in the wild card round. Those teams fell all the way off and lost in the wild card round. The Eagles, I think, are still very likely to get the bye and the 1 seed, which is why, by the way, a side story, Brew, to last night's Eagles loss is the Cowboys had to wake up Monday morning feeling sick, and they had to wake up this morning feeling sicker. Because if they had simply held serve against Green Bay, held on to that 4th quarter lead, they controlled their own destiny to win the division. Because they would be in a position where if they can go and beat Philly, they would then, because of the better divisional record up to that point in time, have the tiebreaker with Philly having split the head-to-head. Now Philly trips up and the Giants, I guess, are the team that's in position. Now, I don't think the Giants will, So I don't think Philly is fraudulent the way the Steelers and the Cardinals, I felt they were all year. Both those teams were fraudulent. But I also don't think they are a juggernaut. I don't think they are one of the 3 best teams, or one of the 2 best teams in the NFC right now.
2 best teams in the NFC.
Yes.
Okay, but I do still think they're a legitimate contender in the NFC. They're not the favorite right now, maybe, but I know you probably got Tampa and San
Francisco ahead of them.
I think Philly can play with them. So I'm still giving them a shot.
I know, but we got like Tampa Bay 5-5, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, but
Well, and San Francisco.
San
5-4.
Francisco,
So
right.
two teams we think might be.
And by one other note, real quick before we move on, I know he's just a rookie. The Jordan Davis injury is a big deal for Philly. And they mentioned it on the broadcast, and that he's a top 15 pick, a monster of a man, and what he allows them to do differently up front when he's there to when he's not there. Ben Solak has pointed this out on Twitter and on his podcast a lot. That's a big injury, and he's not coming back for the next few weeks. And so I just think for Philly, they are not in, as much as, to use a Brew term, the catbird seat. Brew, I can't give you upset alert full credit, but I will give you catbird seat credit.
I wouldn't be surprised if Philly loses a few more. Sorry, Dustin.
Ooh, I like that.
I agree with that.
Fast forward to the end of the game. The rare roughing the passer penalty that is being called and celebrated by the quarterback at the same time. I mean, Brew, are you okay with this?
Completely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Look how excited he is.
What? I mean, he took a knee. Graham was what?
He
5
fell
yards?
into him.
He was 5 yards away when Heincke goes down. Look at that. He's 5 yards away. Don't tell me he couldn't have stopped without making contact. It took him. He couldn't stop in 5 yards.
Pound man. He tripped.
Oh, stop. Look at that. He's 5 yards away.
Brew, okay.
Heincke's right. I have no problem whatsoever with this call at all. I have a problem with the face mask, as I'm sure everybody. But this, no.
See, I do. And by the way, even after throwing the flag, once I see Heincke celebrating, I'm putting the flag back in my pocket.
Is that allowed?
What's wrong with him celebrating?
Pick it up.
You pick it up.
Yeah.
There's you can't. Wilds, you said it before the show. This is Wilds' point. He's right. Guys celebrating, drawing a flag when the flag is only there in a player safety mechanism is, to me, in poor taste. But more importantly than it being in poor taste, whenever stuff like this happens, I'm always talking about the unintended consequences. And I'm telling you right now, there are smart teams across the league that are talking to their quarterback saying, all right, listen, guys, if we're in a 4th and forever and a must-go-for-it situation, rather than do the, as Scott Van Pelt calls it, pitchy woo-woo, where you just do the laterals around, like Philly, how they lost the game.
Fake play.
Let's pretend we're running a play, and right before the guys close in on you, irrationally and out of nowhere take a knee and see if somebody falls into you. Because what he did was fell into him.
He went down. He was about to get sacked. He took a knee. He's clearly down.
He didn't really
and
take
it wasn't right before.
Flop.
His knee went on the ground.
My point is, if you're the Philly defenders,
he's 5 yards away.
I get it. If you're the Philly defenders, you are not thinking at any point he's going to all of a sudden give himself up.
That's right.
You are in full pursuit with the game on the line. And then Heincke, I'm not saying he did this on purpose, but he might have discovered something here where it's like, oh, this is a different way to get an automatic first down. I just hated it. I thought it.
And I can't believe you don't like it. A Jose Alvarado fan that you are, you don't like that?
That's nowhere near what Jose Alvarado is up to.
Really?
No. Do you see
It's like exactly the same.
Got in Jose Alvarado's face. There's a little bonus. That was great.
I can't believe it.
Up big and Jose Alvarado still stealing the ball. Up next, more Pelicans talk. Just kidding. We're talking.